Something needs to be done. They are not the most dangerous prisoners known to society at all.
I'm not saying I didn't deserve prison, because I did. What I didn't deserve was a sentence with no release date.
In 2005, judges in England and Wales started giving out a new kind of life sentence for relatively minor crimes, including fighting and shoplifting, with disastrous results.
It's created a flawed system where thousands of offenders have already served their normal sentence or tariff, but no one can predict when or if they might ever be released.
Indeterminate sentences for public protection, or IPPs, were supposed to keep dangerous criminals locked up until they could prove they were no longer a threat. They were scrapped in 2012, but Vice News used Freedom of Information rules to reveal the 4,500 who are still inside, with no set release date. We went to Oxford to meet Jody. On the day of his grandma's funeral, Jody's partner Johnny was involved in a fight outside a pub. He ended up hitting a guy round the head with a weapon.
How's it going? How are you? Nice to see you.
He pleaded guilty to GBH with intent, which was what his charges were. When the judge sentenced him to the IPP, he sentenced him to an 18-month tariff and a 3.5-year recommendation. I left that court with a massive smile on my face. I was with his mum and his family. We went to the pub and we celebrated the fact that he'd got an IPP. Thank God, 3.5 years, 4 years, it's not as bad as what we thought. But we didn't know what we know now.
IPP prisoners receive a recommended jail term, and Johnny's ended after 3.5 years. He's now been inside for 8, with no set release date.
So in there is like probably about, it would be about 6 years worth of letters.
6 years?
Yeah, that I've wrote to him.
How many of them do you think there are in there?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, so,
There's some huge cards as
yeah,
well.
yeah. 10, he must have loved me that day, 11, 12 pages long.
On every page he's put in big letters, "You are my life, I love you." What is this
I don't
one?
know, that's probably his,
Something from his stash?
yeah, probably.
When you write these letters, are you talking about the life that you hope to have together?
Yeah. Nothing's really about what's happening, you know, in prison life or what's happening in the prison. It's more about our future and what we plan to do and where we plan to go on holiday and what we're going to call our children and things like just daft things.
No, he shouldn't have got into a fight, but he'd be the first one to admit, yes, he did wrong, and he's been to prison, and the change I've seen in him over the last 3 or 4 years is remarkable. He's a man now. He was just young and silly, and he's been full of remorse. And I would just say, please give him a chance.
Vice News found that people have received IPPs for crimes as minor as shoplifting, fighting in public, and criminal damage under £20. The cost of keeping them jailed exceeds £119 million a year. John Samuels is a retired judge who spent 10 years on the parole board, which decides when IPPs are released. He told us the system has been plagued by delays, but has been unable to talk publicly until now.
Far more could be done in ensuring the safety of the public by releasing those tariff-expired IPP sentences and supervising them effectively in the community, which would be cheaper and the public safety would not be compromised.
What would you say to people who say that those kind of steps would mean releasing thousands of England and Wales's most dangerous prisoners?
They are not the most dangerous prisoners known to society at all. The most dangerous prisoners are those who are serving either mandatory life sentences or discretionary life sentences.
The Parole Board faced repeated criticism for the way in which they deal with IPP prisoners. The hearings are often delayed or deferred. Is that the Parole Board's fault?
It's certainly not the Parole Board's fault that there are delays in the system. The dossiers, which are provided by the Ministry of Justice, are inadequate, full of errors, full of problems, some really basic problems.
Hiya, how are you? Nice to see you.
Very well.
You right?
Yeah, very well.
So you didn't sleep very well last night?
No, I didn't really. My head was kind of spinning with all thoughts and things like that, but I've not got any experience and I don't really know what to expect.
What exactly is going to happen today?
Well, the probation officer and his offender manager will put forward their cases, as in what they recommend should happen after today and what they would like to see happen. Are you alright? Are you nervous?
We can't broadcast Johnny's voice because of strict rules on prisoner interviews.
You know, I've got a good feeling about today. I'm with you 100%, alright? Right. Away we go.
How many times have you done this journey?
I wouldn't even know, to be honest.
Are you okay?
No, not really. This isn't fair. 9 years. He's no angel, like I said, no, he's been silly in the past, he's done stupid things and he's paying for that now, he's paying the price. I just want him home and I want to be able to start our life together. I want to do the normal things that people take for granted.
Johnny's freedom rests on convincing the parole board he's no longer a risk to society. It could be another 2 years until his case is heard again.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow.
How did it go? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah?
It went surprisingly okay.
You've just come straight out of the parole hearing. You were in there for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And do you have any sense of whether it might have gone Johnny's way or not?
I suppose my gut instinct was that it's gone pretty well, and hopefully they'll take on board everything that's been recommended to them. I was so proud of Johnny and the way that he came across, everything that they asked him, he had a decent answer for.
Great.
So I really hope, fingers crossed.
So it all went to plan?
Yeah, it did.
You're right, mate. How's it going?
I headed to Plymouth to meet Michael. He was given an IPP for grievous bodily harm with intent, a serious violent crime, and received a 3-year minimum. 7 years on, he's just been released.
Listen, yeah, alright babes, listen, I'll ring you when I'm finished, alright? Alright, love you. If I didn't get out this time, I was going to cut off from everyone, and that was it. I just wasn't going to try. I was just going to live in jail.
When you spoke to the other IPP prisoners, did they have the same kind of worries as you? Were they sort of carrying a lot more on their shoulders than the normal prisoners?
Yeah, definitely. I've started my sentence with one geezer who got an IPP, and I see him, about 4.5 years later in another jail. He was skinny, he was on heroin, he'd sold everything out of his cell, and I'm like, what's happened? He's like, I just can't deal with it. He's like, I can't deal with the sentence, it's destroyed me. Because they see you as this dangerous person, he's IPP, they have to be more cautious. And they have to cover their back every time, because my probation officer said release me. Now if I went out and started attacking anyone in here, it's her that gets the shit. And you got to fight so hard to get out, and then when you do get out, you got to fight even harder to stay out. And I didn't kill no one. I didn't stab no one. I didn't use no weapons. I'm not saying I didn't deserve prison, because I did. What I didn't deserve was a sentence with no release date.
So where are we going now? What are we doing?
Probation. See that blue building there? In
Yeah?
the corner, that's probation. I'm going into probation to see my probation officer,
Alright.
to see how well I'm doing and all that madness.
And what are you going to talk to her about?
Probably work, trying to get to stay at my girlfriend's.
So you're not allowed to at the moment?
Nah, not at the moment, because I got to work towards it. I got to prove myself. But personally, I think I've proved myself. But she thinks I'm trying to rush things. She's like, "You're trying to run before you can walk," and I'm like, "No, I just want a plan, so I know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
Right.
Cool, mate.
I'll
Well,
give you a
good
bell
luck.
when I get out. Yeah.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
All right, sweet brother.
So she's pleased with your progress over the last week.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
did she say that you'd be able to go and see your girlfriend and go and stay over yet? Is that
not
on the
yet,
cards?
Not yet. She's saying by Christmas she reckon I'll be able to spend a couple of nights there.
Yeah.
But that's something to look forward to. It's something to work forward. I don't mind as long as I've got something to work towards.
The thing I wanted to ask you is that people are going to say, "Oh, Michael, you know, you got a GBH conviction when you were 12, you got another when you were 20, you tried to escape from an open prison.
Yeah.
So why is it wrong that you're kept in prison until the parole board decides that it's time to release you?"
I didn't kill no one. I didn't stab no one. So, fair enough. What I done was quite bad. I beat someone up for no reason. There wasn't a reason behind it. So, like I said, I deserved the prison sentence. But to give her, I don't know how to describe myself at that age, a young boy, a sentence where he hasn't got a release date, nothing to look forward to, that's not fair. It's not. It's disgusting. Fair enough. If give me a 15-year sentence, at least I know when I'm getting out. It's not because you're not just punishing me. You're punishing my family. You're punishing my mum. You're punishing my nan. You're punishing all these people that haven't done nothing wrong. All they're doing is they're supporting a young lad that went down the wrong path. Because it's not just me that does the sentence. They do the sentence as well.
IPPs are on probation for a minimum of 10 years, and if Michael breaks a rule, like staying at his girlfriend's, he can go straight back to prison. Vice News found that half the IPPs released since 2012 have been recalled. 17 days after Johnny's parole hearing, we get a call from Jodie. She's had some news.
So Johnny's received a letter from the parole board. What did it say?
The summary of it is there's 4 reasons and 4 reasons why they've refused his parole. And the main ones were being that me and his mum, they need to be aware that we know what public protection is.
Why is that important?
They're saying, would we protect Johnny rather than the public? Meaning, would we harbour, if he committed another offence and police were looking for him, would we harbour him, would we hide him?
So how does it feel as a family that supported Johnny all the way through, that speaks to him every day, knowing that the focus isn't on Johnny's behaviour, but now it's on you and on the support that you're able to provide him?
It feels like he's not been released because of something that we've done or something that we haven't done or something that we could do better.
Are you going to be able to appeal the decision? How long is it going to take?
It could take quite a few months, but our hope is that we're going to appeal the decision. From having a quick conversation with his solicitor, her opinion is that there seems to be more than enough grounds to appeal it.
And if you didn't seek the route of judicial review, how long would it take for him to receive another appeal?
They say 12 to 18 months, but more than likely it will be 2 years before we actually get to sit before parole board again. His actual words to me were, well, you saw with your own eyes now. It says, I don't think I'll ever get out.
How can you be too supportive? I just can't. I don't understand it. I promise you, I don't care if you put this in there, I will fight this until the day I die.
What's it like knowing that, you know, it'll probably be another 12 months, maybe 18 months before he gets another hearing?
Awful. Awful. Can you imagine? Absolutely awful. You know, I've said things to the family like, if I die before he comes home, look after him. Sorry. You know, the years are against me now rather than for me, and I'm trying to keep strong for him. It's just awful. The waiting's awful.
According to the parole report, Johnny still poses a medium risk of reoffending. The Ministry of Justice could release IPPs like Johnny onto the strict licence conditions Michael faces, but they told us they have no plans to do so. The Parole Board said they're working hard to tackle the caseload, but acknowledged it had increased considerably. It seems that nobody wants to take responsibility for the UK's forgotten prisoners, still serving an obsolete sentence with no set release date.